Hello, and welcome to Computer Fundamentals. If you've not been computing every day for the last 5 or 10 years, some of the remote video conferencing you're doing with Scouting right now might be a bit rough. There are some things that could be confusing, just kind of don't get how it's all working. So this short class is going to hopefully ease some of those frustrations and help make this more enjoyable. Because really, although video conferencing is here because of COVID for Scouting, Montana's a big state. We can use this tool to help our Scout units do better in bad weather and all sorts of situations. So let's learn how to use this new tool and make it work for Scouting. All right, so first let's talk about what we're going to do in this short class. We're going to learn the language of the computing world today, the most important features of video conferencing that you should be looking for, and how to avoid some frustrations of video conferencing. We're not going to go over every feature of every platform. That's just is not what I could do. I've used 8 or 9 of them over the years, but there are a lot of similarities, and that's what we're going to focus on. So this is going to feel like a history lesson, I guess it is, but you really need to understand the world of computing. So in the before time, right, when computers were first introduced, a big box, big piece of equipment was on your desk. I mean, it was large. And you had a monitor, which was really, really big, and a keyboard, not a mouse. Right, mices came later. A printer, if you were lucky, that was black and white. It was not color. And all the information was stored on a hard drive. And the first thing you did when you got a computer is you loaded your operating system onto your computer. DOS operating system, whatever used for a Mac, Windows. A lot of people refer to Windows as an operating system. And you loaded disk after disk. You loaded that onto your computer, and that is what made your computer work, made it functional to get to the programs or the applications which you wanted to use to actually get stuff done, like word processing programs, or Excel programs, or Lotus programs, all of that. So you set up your computer world, which was self-contained. Once you got it all set up, you were good to go. Well, that changed with the World Wide Web. So then you plugged in to your phone jack somewhere, and you dialed up this noise, and you got to the World Wide Web. And initially that information out there was just information, and then it became email and some of those kinds of things. They weren't really applications or programs out on the World Wide Web, mostly information and communications. Then computers got smaller, and we were able to not plug in, but do wireless. Very, very handy in this whole revolution of computers. And then the World Wide Web really became the cloud. And that is as servers and systems got bigger. The cloud is just rooms and bunkers of servers that hold data and hold programs. Now, increasingly, those programs that you loaded on your computer, often now you subscribe to a service off in the cloud, and almost nothing's on your computer, which is why you can have an iPad, and get to stuff that's not on your computer. But even to get to all that cloud stuff, you need to have a web browser. That's kind of like the operating system of the World Wide Web. That's what lets you access all that information out there and get to it. And the important thing is that there's different ones, right? There's Chrome, there's Firefox, there's Internet Explorer, and those different web browsers will work differently. So that's the world, and kind of so what? What does it have to do with video conferencing? Well, you need to know that some video conferencing services are completely cloud-based. So life-size, you can get a link and access your video conferencing just on the cloud. Where other ones like Zoom, you actually need to download something on your physical computer in order to use it. So that's a good thing to understand with the service that you're using. And then these different operating systems, not only your computer operating system, but your web browser will look different on your computer. So just because someone says, well, there's a button for this video conference and it's right there on my computer, it might not be that way on your computer. So don't feel like kind of like an idiot if you're going, it's not there, because it might not be. Right, so understand that's the world, the computing world that you're video conferencing in. So another thing that really frustrates some users is what I call the where did it go or intelligent sizing. So in the olden times, you opened one program at a time. That's it. It was on your, that was up, it was functioning, and then you closed it off to open up another one. But then the brilliant thing of Windows applications came along that lets you open multiple applications at the same time, which is great, but your computer screen is only so big. So your real estate, you have to manage what's actually going to be visible and taking up room on your computer screen. And to do that, there's many handy features now that let you do that. And having multiple monitors is great to give you more real estate, but if you just have one, you got to understand these buttons. So almost every application, web browser, has these three buttons. This minus looking one minimizes the program or the application. Minimize, it means it shrinks it down and it's hidden in the icon. And I will try and show you this later, but that's what that does. Not closing it, it's just making it so you can't see it, right? And then these tile buttons or panel buttons, that either makes the program or application full screen, takes up your whole screen, or when you click it, it makes it so you can minimize it. You can change the size of that program, which is really handy because you can put 2 or 3 programs or 4 that you're working on at the same time on your screen. To absolutely get rid of it, to close it, you exit out, and that's pretty standard way to look at that. And once you do that, that program is closed. To use it, you're going to have to open it back up. Alt-Tab is a handy shortcut. It lets you see all the windows that are open if you don't kind of know where they're minimized. Something else to know is that some features are hidden, right? So you might need to mouse over an icon, and then when you do that, other little windows will pop up to see what is hidden in that icon. Or the 3 dots, the dot, 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 that's just an invitation to click on it because that will show you some other things. Usually that's a drop down that gets you some other features. So anytime there's a dot, 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 click on it so you know what's there. So very important to understand that intelligent sizing stuff so you don't get frustrated. So how do you get started with video conferencing? Right, there's a lot of different ones out there. And so these are the questions you need to ask. First of all, do you need your own account? Right? So if you're just going to be on a call, you don't need your own account. Somebody's going to send you a link. If you're going to be hosting meetings, you might need your own service, but you might already have one. If you're at work, probably you do. And if you have a Google Gmail, you've got Google Hangouts. So there are many free ones floating around out there that you could use. Who do you conference with? That's a great question. So if everybody that you're in your network pretty much is using Zoom, if you're going to bring up another service, that's kind of a pain in the neck, right? Because they're going to have to get comfortable with that. So try and be the same as the people you're usually communicating with. That's just helpful. Do you want to pay money or not? So there are many of the services that are free for a lighter version, right? Zoom has a version where you can communicate with up to 100 people that doesn't have quite all the features of the paid account, and that's not uncommon. But there are definitely free services out there. All the sign-ins work pretty much the same for the video programs. You have a link, a meeting link, you click on it, and or you might be have a room ID that people type in. So that's pretty similar. But to get started, there's a couple important things you need to do, and one is to test, right? In Scouts, you don't take a stove out on a camp out that you've never used before. Likewise, don't get on a video conference that you've never used before without doing a test. So a lot of services, and this is the Zoom screen here you're looking at, will have a test screen that says, do you want to join with computer audio? And the answer is yes. Make sure you can use computer audio. It's a pain in the neck to have your phone working on one and the audio. In fact, you tend to get feedback, doesn't work very well to do that. And many of the services have an internal test. You don't even have to talk to somebody to test your speaker and your microphone. So that's super great. You can always ask to join a call early, or if you're the host, to ask somebody to do a quick test call with you, that you know how everything works. So test, because sometimes you're going to run into a problem that's a little trickier and it might take you a few minutes to fix. Like I have a couple different audio channels on my computer, so I need to make sure it's set on the right one or it doesn't work. on video calls. And occasionally the issue will be in your operating system of your computer. So you'll have to go into your control panel of your computer and change the setting. So you don't want to try and figure that out, in the middle of a call. That's not great. The next thing you want to do is you want to think about your setup, right? Look, so you don't roll out of bed in your pajamas and go to a scout meeting. You really want to look good on your video call. So first thing you can do is you add a picture to your profile for whatever video conference service you're using. And that's really helpful to people. They can see you, but also if you turn off your video, people see the picture, which is nice, rather than just your name. So that's important to do. Second, lighting is very important on a video call. So front lighting is preferable. Actually, it makes you look better, so that's a bonus. Overhead lighting can be harsh. Definitely don't wear a hat with overhead lighting. And backlighting, like being in, have a window, is just no. It looks like you're in the witness protection program. People can't see you, and the whole point of being on video call is so people can see you. So pay attention to your lighting. Now, make sure that the area is somewhat clear around you, that not cluttered. You're not video conferencing in your bathroom. Your screen should be eye level, not above to where you're looking up, or the video down to where it's looking up your nose. And then this is a really, really important one. Have pants on, right? This reporter found out the hard way that he was only dressing from the top up, and you can see that he's not really wearing pants, which shocked the reporter there, the co-reporter. You might not wear scout pants, but have pants on, because you're on a scout call. You might be asked to stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance or the oath of the law, and you want to be decent. So those are all important, looking good tips for getting ready to video conference. So now to the meat, the features of video conferencing, right? So first of all, a little bit like what we've talked about, right? There is the software, depending on the program, it's going to vary, right? Zoom versus GoToMeeting versus whatever else, right? So that's going to vary. Cloud versus on your computer, something you've actually loaded on your computer. Usually the cloud-only video services have maybe some changes, some slightly less functionality, fewer features than if you've got part of that video conference loaded onto your program, onto your computer. Mobile versus desktop, right? A lot of the video conference services have a mobile application to it. Often it has fewer features, but they're there. And then security features will vary based on the application. So that's just something to know. You might need a password, you might not. So that's all gonna just look for that. Those are gonna vary. But regardless of the service you're using, there's some things that are pretty similar to check out. And the most important features that I found over time are these that you wanna have in a video conference service. So number one is chat, right? This is a chat screen, picture of a chat screen, and it allows you to type a message to either everyone or to toggle and just select somebody in the meeting that you're going to chat with, maybe ask a question about. So this is great, and keep it open so you can see what's going on in chat. And it's really wonderful. You can put links in chat to, have somebody go to a website. It's just terrific. All right, so that's just invaluable. Screen share is, great, right? So you can show people on your screen what's going on, or go to a website. Having a really easy way to pause screen shares, you can go back and forth between, say, a presentation and people looking at you, is very nice up too. Having simple ways to mute audio is nice in Zoom. The account holder can set it to where you just hold your space bar down to temporarily unmute. So that's handy. Stopping video, you should certainly be able to do that on anything that you're looking. Sometimes you want to stop video. I'm going to do that later in this training, because I will need to do it when we get to that point. And then speaker versus gallery view. That means that you're either going to look at whoever's talking, or you're looking at everybody. Now, once you get more than about, 10 people or 11 people on a call, it's hard to see everybody anyway, because the pictures get less and less. You can fit few of them on the computer. So then you want to switch to speaker view. But for many things, gallery view is just great. So those are important features. Got to have them. Okay. So then there's some fun features that are terrific to have. And once you get used to them, you'll get kind of spoiled. So virtual backdrop, of course, the weather people have been doing virtual backdrop for a long, long time. So that's a green screen, you know, helps with that. And you can see he's wearing this skeleton suit, but you don't see it in the weather thing. So Zoom has a virtual backdrop. Some other video services have them, but you can, that way you don't really have to worry about the mess behind you. You can put a nice picture, say of K-Bar-M or Melita Island. Montana Council does put out some really nice virtual background pictures. So that's really great. Polls are a way you can ask the whole group some questions and everybody can see what the answers are, and I'll show you how that works. Different ways to do reactions or feedback during a call are really nice. So it's going too fast, it's going too slow, I really like what somebody said. Those are just helpful. To be able to change your name for a specific video call is great. Yeah, Zoom does have that feature where you can go in and add like a unit number or your district position to your name for a specific call. We use that for Roundtable, which is really nice because we can see which units are on the Roundtable. Recording, great for training, great for letting someone see a meeting that they missed. Having breakout rooms, which is this automatic way that computer puts people into smaller video conferences and then brings them back together all on the same call is terrific, especially for something like Roundtable. And a whiteboard is really nice. It turns your whole screen into a whiteboard and anybody can write on it. So for brainstorming or even games like Pictionary, it's really, really helpful. All right, so I'm going to, at this point, change over and I'm going to switch screen share so that everyone can see the Zoom features, and we're going to go through some of those live. And the first thing I'm going to do is actually stop my video because it's kind of jarring to see me trying to go through these features and actually watching me at the same time. So you just see my picture there, which we talked about. So here at the bottom are the various features in Zoom. And again, I'm not saying use Zoom, but look and find the different features of the video conferencing service that you decide to use and know where they are. So know how to mute and unmute. And sometimes there's handy shortcut keys like Alt-A, how to stop your video. And this is a place that to participants in this one, and most every service has something that lets you go see who's on the call. So if there are more people on the call, you'd see them listed out, which would be great. And here's some of those reaction buttons that we were talking about. You can say answer a question yes or no, or go slower, or go faster. Even say that you need a coffee break, which is very, very nice. And then if I want this participants bar to go away, I click on participants and it goes away. Polls. Now this meeting is set up with a poll. So I can, during the call, launch this poll. Everybody would get a chance to answer it. And then I close the poll and all the participants would see who answered what. So in this particular case, we would know of the people on the call, like how long they've been in scouting and if you like the class or not. But we're not gonna do that because I don't have anybody else on the call. Here is chat that I talked about. Again, I click that button and here is the chat up. And right now it's chatting to everyone, but if there were other people on the call, I could toggle and just chat to one person. And you can also download the chat file on your computer before you end the meeting in case there's something in that you want to reference, which is really handy. This is the screen share button, which I'm using, and I'm not going to click that. I'm screen sharing right now, and you can choose to screen share a whole screen or an application. And I'm recording, and I'm not going to stop that either. Here's the breakout rooms. So I click on breakouts, and if there were 20 participants on this call, I would say, well, I want 20 participants in, I don't know, 3 or 4 rooms. Automatically, they would be sent to those, create those rooms, and then the presenter then decides when those rooms close. And then here's more reaction buttons right there that you have in Zoom. And so we can also see a little bit of this intelligent sizing while I'm on. So you're looking at my screen, and there's a minimize button. And if I hit that, well, I can't minimize while I'm recording, so I'm not going to do that. So here is, I can do that though, and that I just changed so that I can resize this Zoom, and now you're seeing that, and you're also seeing part of that presentation in the back. So again, that's how you can make use of different parts of the real estate. And then say I'm on a call and I really want to show everybody on the call the Montana Council website right there and say, well, look at that, you can get right to Screen Boosted Scouting from that website by clicking that button. I can bring that up easily enough, and then I can minimize that again, and it goes right away down there into that icon. See, right there. So that is how that works, those buttons, and how you make your screen work for you. So those are the various cool features that you want to look for. And you want to do one more thing: make it convenient when you're using these video conference services. You know, there are plugins you can add to your calendar. It makes it easy to add a remote meeting, all those sign-in details right to your calendar for like Outlook or Google or whatever. Pin services to your desktop so you know where to get to them. If you're using mobile, download the mobile application, otherwise it's not going to work very well. And just know that, you know, you're going to have to keep learning, right? Most of you on the call know what this is. I saw a hilarious video of some young men trying to make a call on this, and they took them like 10 minutes and they had to get coached, right? Things are always changing. Scouters are learners. So if you need to look something up, type in the web browser. If you're on a call and you're wondering how somebody just did something or how something works, use your chat. Ask another scouter or ask the presenter, right? Because that learning is not going to go away for scouters ever. So I hope you find that interesting, that you learned a couple things about video conferencing to make it easier, and jump on those calls. We're going to be using this technology for a while to boost our scouting to even greater heights here in Montana Council. I'm Betsy Eubanks. Thanks for watching.